YouTube, we got max with birds, and they are top tier. Alright, I'm going to go over Lyrlusc, and we're going to talk about how good the deck is right now. Alright, now I'm sure you've seen 1,000 videos on this, but this deck is insane. We were dominating all the way to max. This, I'm convinced, is the best deck in the format. And I'm going to tell you how it works. I'm going to show you a few replays. And I'm going to teach you a few combos as well. This is going to be a combo guide in this too. Alright? So if you haven't seen a combo guide on this, just stay tuned and watch. Alright, so first of all, we're going to go over all the level 4 birds. All the level 1 birds. Not level 4. All the level 1 birds. So basically, if you don't know what Lyrlusc do, basically all the level 1s have an effect that summon themselves from the hand or get an effect on summon. So that's pretty much what you're doing with all of them. And then they can extend and then summon out your rank 1s and then basically OTK the opponent afterwards or control the game. So first of all, you have Sappire Swallow. So basically, if you control a winged beast monster, you can special summon it from the hand and one level 1 winged beast. Now you have to do both. You can't just summon this without having a level 1. You have to do both at the same time. And also, a Lyrlusc Exceed using this as an effect gains this card's effect. So if you Exceed summon a Lyrlusc Exceed using this card, it gains this effect. You can attach one level 1 Lyrlusc monster in your graveyard to it as material. So this card can really help you going second with Gale OTKs. That's the second effect, is really useful. And then the first effect is really, really good because it allows you to special summon this at a level 1. Most of the time, you're going to either summon out your Cobalt or your Celestine Wagatail. So, yeah, either Cobalt or Celestine out with your Sappire Swallow most of the time. Next is Canary, and you definitely want 3 of this as an SR. So basically, she's essentially a monster reborn. She can special summon herself from the hand and then revive any of your level 1 Lyrlusc from the graveyard. And then any wind monster using this card as material gains this effect. It gains 200 attack and control. This card cannot switch. So if you use Canary, most of the time you're going to use this or your Turquoise Warbler to revive back your either your Celestine or your Cobalt most of the time from the graveyard, because those are going to gain additional effects for you. But yeah, really, really good. Again, you have to do both effects. You can't just do one or the other. But this card is absolutely insane. Next, we have Cobalt Sparrow. So basically, this card is the best card in the deck. And it does 2 different effects that are very broken. On summon, it gets to search for any level 1 winged beast from your deck to your hand. That does include access to your DD Crow. So DD Crow is a level 1 winged beast. Also, when an Exceed monster using this card as material is summoned, you can activate this effect. That Exceed becomes untargetable. First of all, this is not an activated effect. Okay, so that's really good. The effect not to target is not activated. So your opponent cannot respond to that. That's just a continuous effect. So that's very powerful. It just gains that effect immediately. So your opponent cannot book it. They cannot chalice it. They cannot use any effects that target. Are pretty much useless with Cobalt Sparrow on the field. So really, really powerful. It searches and it gives your Exceed targeting protection, and that's permanent. Next, we run Lyrlusc Turquoise Warbler, and similar to Canary, this one, except that you have to control no monsters, you can special this card, and then when this is on the field, and special summon a level 1 Lyrlusc from the graveyard. So basically, you're going to use this, and you're going to summon back either your Celeste or your Cobalt. Okay, so you're either going to summon Celestine or your Cobalt. Okay. But the cool thing about Warbler is that you don't have to, you can special it from the hand as many times as you want, and you don't have to meet the second condition to summon it. Now, both Canary and Warbler are both good for different situations. Canary is really good because it plays around Veiler because the whole effect resolves in the hand. And Warbler is really good because you can slap it on the field. It's also really good to deal with your opponent's Nightingale. I mean, not Nightingale, Ensemble Blue Robin, because it special summons from the hand, and if they bounce it back, then you can summon it back from the hand and kind of put a lot of pressure on your opponent. Next, you have Lyrlusc Celestine Wagatail. Now, Celestine is a 1 or a 2 of. I like it as a 2 of. I think it's necessary to have as a 2 of. On special summon, whether it's from the hand or graveyard, you can add one Lyrlusc spell or trap. One spell or trap from deck to hand. And you can target a Lyrlusc, succeed you control, attach this card as material. So, in the graveyard. So, if this card's in the graveyard, you can attach it to the card as material. Very, very powerful effect. So, Celestine can search out your bird call. Now, and this is the miracle moment where everyone's going to ask me, Sean, I don't have 3 bird call. Okay. Well, surprise, you can run it with less. If you want to run it with less, just do this. Like, I would trim it down. You know, you trim down the fat a bit. What else? I'd probably go to one of these. And then something like this. Or maybe just like run 3 droplets as a whole. Probably go to 2 Kinkabio because you're on 20 cards. And then run it like that. And then run it like so. Okay, so if you have 2 bird call, you just cut it down to a 20 to 23 card list. Hey, no problem. If you don't have... unfortunately, I hate to say this, Droplet is the best card in the format. So if you don't have Droplet, there's really nothing that replaces it. The closest is Book of Eclipse, but even Book of Eclipse doesn't replicate what Droplet does, because Droplet allows you to OTK where Eclipse doesn't. So again, like I said, Droplet is harder to replace, but I would say like Eclipse, or just run like other decks like Veiler, MST. You can even run the Ritual. Like if you don't have Droplet, you can run the Ritual, like Buford X, try that in there. And then like negate effects based upon that. I'll show it to you. So you can like run this in there. As long as like you're not summoning it. So again, going back to the skill, you cannot normal summon or set anything but Lyrlusc, but if you run Buford X, you're not ever summoning it, so you can run this like discard from the hand to negate the attack of Nightingale. So like if you don't have Droplet, maybe this is gonna be an option, but like Droplet's very hard to replace. Okay. But if you only have like 2 Droplet, then absolutely just reduce the list and play like 20 cards or something like that. 22 cards and you'll be okay. Okay. Next is Bird Call. Now Bird Call, like I said before, you can get away with 2 of it. That's okay. If you have like 22 cards, just play 2 of it. But Bird Call is definitely preferred at 3. It's very, very strong. So it takes 1 Lyrlusc monster and adds it from deck to hand. Then you can special summon a Lyrlusc from your hand with a different name. Now the great thing about this is you have Turquoise Wiggler. Now Turquoise Wiggler does not need to gain its effect while you have no monsters. It just needs to be special summoned. So for instance, if you already have Warbler in hand and you activate your Bird Call to search maybe a Celestine Wagatail, then you can special summon out your Warbler from hand, and that allows you to further extend. So using Bird Call correctly could be the essence of being able to extend. Lyrlusc, it may seem like some people may think it's brain dead, but it actually is big brain points. But you really have to outthink your opponent at times, and the better player will win in the mirror match. The one who can run the best decks and focus on the grind game. So keep that in mind. So definitely 3 copies of Bird Call. This card is insane, and you can search this off your Celestine. Another card we can search off Celestine is Bird Sanctuary. So this card has 2 different effects, and they're both really, really good. First effect, you can target 2 Winged Beast Exceed monster control. Attach one is the Exceed material to the other. And the overlay units on the other Exceed get attached to that. So keep that in mind. And then while an Exceed, Winged Beast Exceed, you control has 3 materials, draw a card. So you get to draw a card for free. Really, really good. And you can only use each effect of Bird Sanctuary once per turn. So really, really good. Okay. On top of that, we're playing 3 MST. Now, I'm still testing what the best decks are. Other than Droplet. Droplet's not coming out of the deck regardless. But MST, Veiler is really good. I also like Blizzard. Now, this is a bit more pay to win, because Blizzard's not a card that, unless everybody went to the Odd Eyes box years ago, this is a card that not everybody has. But this card is good because this could dodge a Droplet if they're not discarding a spell. So if your opponent's not thinking to play around Lance or Droplet, and they don't toss a spell with Droplet, this card tends to be very, very good. Because, again, Blizzard can instantly have the effect to just say, hey, I'm going to negate your Droplet or your Book of Eclipse. And that's really, really good overall. So that's something you might want to keep in mind. But again, Book of Eclipse doesn't really hurt you too much unless you're facing something like Star Seraph. But again, against something like Star Seraph, having the access to this to negate their Book of Eclipse is very, very good, so they can't Delta Rust pop your whole board. Although, again, like I said, you can come back from that because you can have a certain amount of follow-up in this deck, judging on the turns, judging on how you play the deck. Now, again, like I said, the key to mastering this deck is knowing how you want to play against every matchup. You got to know your matchups. If you know your matchups, you will do really well in this deck. I'm going to tell you that straight up. So knowing how to, like against Sorcerer, making a turn 1 a ton of follow-up to deal with a potential Book of Eclipse, expecting that they may have that card, allowing you to gain a significant amount of advantage afterwards. That's really, really good. And having that amount of follow-up to really play through whatever your opponent's trying to do. Okay, now on to the extra deck. Well, first I want to talk about one more tech in the deck, and that's Kinkabio. If you don't know what this card does, this is a really good card to have, and you can get this with an SR Dream ticket. You can't get this with box chips. On summon, it's just revives a level 1 from graveyard, and then basically a 1-card exceed. And this will trigger your Celestine and your Cobalt if you have them in the graveyard. So really, really good. Okay, and then if you have this on the field in the end phase, you can bounce this to the hand. So that's just something that can happen if you needed it to. Okay, now next are exceeds. Now again, this is going to sound very similar to Yubel Master Duel if you've ever played against it. Basically, Yubel Master Duel uses Nightmare Pain, and it allows you to OTK the heck out of your opponent, going boom, 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 boom. But again, that's just an example of what this deck plays like. I'm going to go over each exceed. So first of all, Bromad Thrush. This card allows you to detach a material, shuffle 1 spell or trap in the deck, target it. So this is just basically good removal. If Starcer has set 1 backward, you can instantly make this and instantly threaten their Book of Eclipse and play around it. So that's really, really good. Dealing with a potential Book of Eclipse on top of it. Which is another reason why we're playing MST right now, because if we go second into a Book of Eclipse, we can MST that and potentially hit their Book of Eclipse, as well as have a Bromad Thrush to potentially just easily get through 2 back row. Next, we're playing 3 copies of... Oh, also, Bromad Thrush has 1 more effect. 2 more effects. If this gains 500 attack for each material attached to it. And you can detach any amount of materials from this card at that monster you control. If another monster you control battles, you can detach any amount of materials from this card. That monster you control gains 300 attack for each material detached. So that could be a really cool way to boost up your Nightingale. And many people won't read the second part of this effect, so you can surprise them that way. Next, we're playing 3 Out Starling. This card is absolutely amazing. I can't believe why we got it to set 3. While on the field, you can detach 1 material, add any level 1 winged beast from deck to hand, including DD Crow. Also, you can detach 1 material, add 1 level 1 winged beast from deck to hand. And this is, like I said, yeah. Also, another thing. Also, when this card is succeed summoned, 1 monster on the field will gain 300 attack for each material attached to this card. Now, this effect is crazy. Because turn 1, you're going to have 2 materials, and you're going to summon Nightingale first. I'm going to show you the combos. Okay? So, you're going to want to summon your Nightingale first. That way, your Nightingale instantly gets 800 attack. Now, while that may not sound too crazy, it gets a lot bigger, and that 800 attack makes a difference, because that leads to a very easy OTK. By itself, without the boost of Nightingale by itself, that boost can help win you the game. So keep that in mind. Also, you can detach 1 material from this card, add 1 winged beast, as I said before, and this is the key note of the effect. This card makes this card crazy. All battle damage that you take is also inflicted upon your opponent. So your opponent is going to take the battle damage with you. However, it's never going to be with you because you are running this card. Lyrlusc Assemble Nightingale. So this card is very broken. It takes 2 or more level 1s. It gains 200 attack for each exceed material attached to it. This card can attack your opponent directly. While this card has exceed material, it can attack a number of times during the battle phase equal to the amount of exceed material on it. So you're going to easily sometimes have 4 or 5 material on this. And then this thing can attack you 5 times that turn. Very broken. Again, since it gains 200 attack for each exceed material on it, it will instantly have 1,000 attack when it has a 5 material. But wait! So that's 5,000 damage direct. Oh, they're dead. There is more. If you have your Out Starling boosted up, then it's going to gain another 600 attack. So it'll be at 1,600. And then you do 16 times 5, which is 80. So that deals 8,000 damage. Okay? So, as you can see, that becomes very, very, very big damage, very OTK damage really, really quick. So Nightingale is very, very large, and it is very in charge. Now, if that wasn't good enough, remember you're going to have your Cobalt attached, so it's going to become untargetable. And then the third effect makes this even better. Once per turn, during either player's turn, you can detach one material from this card. You take no damage for the rest of the turn. Also, none of your monsters you control, all of them, cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect. So, instantaneously, you're going to have a field full of untargetable monsters. They're not going to be able to be destroyed by battle or card effect, and you don't take any damage, which is really, really toxic and insane. Now, also, you can use this effect aggressively. As I said before with your Out Starling, if you go and attack your opponent and you activate the effect to take no damage that turn, you can smack your monsters in, sort of like U-Bell with Nightmare Pain, and then just have them take the damage. So if you attack a Blue Eyes White Dragon, they leave in attack mode, that's 3,000 damage. They're almost dead on that alone. And this is not once per turn. If you have 2 Starlings on the field, that's 6,000 damage. Now you can see how the damage really adds up, and this deck gets really crazy really fast. Now on top of that, you're probably going to ask why Querion's here. I'll tell you why in a second. On top of that, we have Lyrlusc Ensemble Robin. So this card is crazy. It takes 2+1 level 1 monsters. It gains 500 attack for each material attached to it. If your opponent special summons a monster, you can detach 1 material from this card and bounce that card back to the hand. Now this does target it, but it will bounce cards back to the hand. This will be annoying in some matchups, like if you go up against something that is heavy special summon, like Wind Witcher, Sun Avalon, then this card can be really annoying for them to deal with, and you just keep bouncing all their monsters back to their hand. Also, if this card is sent to the graveyard by any means necessary, you can target a Lyrlusc monster in graveyard, add it to your hand. If your Nightingale's in the graveyard, add that to the hand. So really, really, really bonkers, really, really insane. Now, and remember, like I said, if you have Cobalt attached to any of these exceeds, they will not be able to be targeted. So you can make an untargetable Ensemble Robin, and if you detach off Nightingale, which you will have that set up, you will be untargetable, indestructible by card effect and battle, which is really nasty. Now, on top of that, we run Querion Gandrex for no apparent reason except that there's no 9th card. You can play the extra deck, and you can play whatever card you want. I just love Querion so much that I play a prismatic version of it. Okay, so now, also, I'm gonna talk about the skill really quick as we go over into the combo tutorial. Now, this is going to teach you what to do with a 1 or 2 card combo. Now, I know that people get lost because they don't know what these cards do, and they start to get a headache, and it took me a while to learn the combos, so now I can teach them to you. So we're going to go to the gate, and I'm going to teach you how to combo up. Now, some of this could get a little bit freestyle. Once you master the deck, you can start going in all different directions, but let's go over some of the basic combos. Well, okay. Alright, this is a 1-card line involving Barrel Canary. So, this is a 1-card line. I'm going to actually take down the deck list over here, if this makes sense. Just give me 1 second. Okay. And I'm going to write over here. It's my text bar. Name this combo. Okay, here we go. Actually, no. Then I'm going to throw this right over here. Okay, so this is the 1-card Barrel Canary combo. This is what you can do. Now, keep this in mind. You don't want to go textbook on this. These are great to know because this is a good generalization to do. Your bread and butters, for instance. But recognize the matchup. For example, against Star Seraph, you may choose to do a bit more, be a bit less, but to get more value out of it, because they don't really care about Ensemble Robin. Because remember, if they summon like a Deltaros, they can't respond on summon anyway. So Ensemble Robin is not the best against them. You can end on it if you have more resources to do so. But overall, it's not the most impactful card against Autism. So don't prioritize an ending on that necessarily. Okay, so let's talk about the one card line. So, we're going to activate Bird Humming, which this skill, first part of the skill, allows us to reveal a Lyrlusc to send any Lyrlusc from deck to graveyard. So it's essentially Foolish Burial. The second part of the skill on the opponent's turn is like the Performance skill. Shuffle a monster from your field into the deck to play a Lyrlusc from your deck and face down. So basically the Performance skill. Anyway, we're going to reveal Barrel Canary, and we're going to send, with the one card combo, we're going to send our Celestine Wagatail. Now with Barrel Canary in hand, we're going to special summon it. And then we're going to special summon. Do not pay attention to anything else that's in the hand. Everything else in the hand is irrelevant. And pretend this is turn 1. Now, Celestine on summon searches us a Lyrlusc spell and trap. So we're going to search Bird Call. Now here, we're going to do is in this particular spot, we're going to make our Recital Starling in the main monster zone. And the reason why you want to make it in the main monster zone is because if we make it in the EMC, then what's going to happen is we're not going to be able to have as good a follow-up. So we'd rather make it in the main. And then we'll boost up Recital Starling. Now, next we're going to activate Bird Call. And we're going to search out our Cobalt. And then we're going to activate our Recital. We're going to detach Celestine. Very important. You always want to detach this so you can attach it to a new material on the field. And we're going to search our Sappire Swallow.
I activate Sappire Swallow's effect from my Special summoning Cobalt Sparrow.
Now, Cobalt can go ahead and search us another card to hand. We could choose to add DD Crow here. And then we can go ahead and end on, say, an Assemble Nightingale. And Nightingale is now untargetable.
My beautiful bird, spread your wings from high above.
This is with this card alone. And then here we have nothing else in the gray, so we're not going to trigger the blue. We're going to just activate the Celestine. And then we can attach it onto Nightingale. And then off of one card, we have an Assembled Nightingale. We have a Recital Starling. And yeah, we're chilling. You could also potentially end on double Starling Nightingale. But I like this as a one card line because it doesn't use too many resources. And generally, if you're going for a one card line anyway, you're probably having like a ton of text in the hand. So yeah, in that case, this is fine. Just be protective, and then you're going to go right in with the follow-up. So this is the basic one-card line. Again, the one-card line doesn't really come up much. You're going to most likely open up a ton of gas, so it's not really going to come up. But this is just a simple one-card line you could do if you run like a heavy tech build. Okay, next. Okay, this is a two-card line.
No one messes with Joey Wheeler. It's my turn. Here we come. I summon a monster in attack position. I end my turn.
Here I go. My turn.
Okay, this is either Canary plus Warbler or King Caballo.
I draw.
So if we see this in the hand, this is an instant two-card line. You can also alter this and have Canary in hand. Alongside, you could also have Warbler with King Caballo, and this still works. This is just a quick, easy two-card combo. So we're going to activate our skill. We're going to reveal Barrel Canary. With this, we're going to be able to send to the graveyard our copy of Celestine. Well, actually, we don't have to send Celestine. We can send Cobalt here because we have the two-card line. Then we can activate King Caballo. Summon out our Swallow. And you really, in this case... Oh, hold on, let me close that Discord. Sorry about that. It's very important that you actually want to be able to summon Sparrow first, if you can. So you may say why not set Celestine, because you always want to summon Sparrow first, because we could put Nightingale in the EMZ, and we could do that first, which is highly preferable. And you'll see why in a second. So now we're going to search our Sparrow, and then we are going to make our Nightingale in the EMZ. Now again, we're pretending this is turn 1. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to activate Nightingale's effect. We're going to detach Sparrow. Then we're going to reveal our Barrel Canary.
Barrel Canary's effect activates from my hand. Lyrlusc.
Now we can go ahead and make our Recital Starling.
My beautiful bird. Harmonize. Join me.
Now again, the downside to opening up Canary over something like opening up Cobalt is that Canary gives us more room to make, if we open up Cobalt, not Cobalt, Turquoise, if we open up Warbler, it gives us more room to make Robin untargetable. Whereas if we do this line, it's not going to make it that much, give us that much room. But again, with everyone running non-targetable things, being untargetable on Robin is not that as important. So I wouldn't prioritize that. If you can go for the big combo, putting it in the EMZ is much more important than setting up untargetable Robin here to go somewhere else. Now we're going to activate Recital Starling, and we're going to boost up Assemble Nightingale. So again, we boost up that Nightingale, and this is a permanent increase. This is what I was telling you before. We make Nightingale first, and then make Starling. Then we can use Starling to boost up Nightingale, and then we can get that Nightingale to get big. Now we can activate Starling, detach the Sparrow. I mean the Cobalt, yep. And then we can search Celestine. And then we can activate our Sappire Swallow to special summon Wagatail. And then we can activate Celestine to search our Bird Sanctuary. And then from here, we can make our Ensemble. And all in defense here, because you want to summon everything in defense. The reason why is because, yeah, you want to summon everything in defense because there's no point putting things in attack. Because if you put things in attack, you may say, oh, you take no damage anyway. Yeah, but what if they droplet you? Then you're just going to take reckless damage that you don't need to take. You're not going to be able to be destroyed in battle anyway. At this point, if we start off with Canary, then we're going to instantly activate our effect to attach Sparrow. Most of the time, we're not going to use Sapphire's effect to attach, but in this case, we will, going first. Going second, you will use Sapphire's effect a lot, but in this case, we're not. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to activate Bird Sanctuary, which is going to allow us to draw a card here. And then at this point, we can activate the second effect of first effect of Sanctuary to attach these onto Robin. Now, again, if you face Seraph, you're going to go about this a little bit differently, and I'm about to tell you why. Against Seraph, rather than end on Robin in this situation, a good play could just be to end on Thrust. Because most of the time, you know they're going to set back row. They run Eclipse, they run, they run Eclipse, they run, you know, Crackdown sometimes some other back row, like, you know, like, well, whatever. They run a ton of different techs in Seraph. But if they set back row and you end on, like, Promenade, and you say, okay, I'm untargetable and indestructible, then you immediately have a back row threat going into your opponent's turn. So if their play is, okay, I'm just going to set a ton of back row on you, then you're going to be able to activate Promenade and start bouncing their back row. And if they start playing a tech, say, like Poisonous Winds, then you instantly have an ability to threaten it because it only locks you at a special summoning. So then you can threaten the removal of that floodgate instantly. So keep this in mind. This is very, very good. I think overall, Bromad Thrush, ending on that over Ensemble on Seraph, is probably even better. So you can just threaten their back row instantaneously, giving you easier route to lethaling them on turn 3. So keep that in mind. Alright, and at that point, if I end on Promenade, I'm not going to attach all the materials onto Promenade because that's pointless. I would just throw everything on Nightingale. And again, that goes for any matchup you don't feel like there's special summoning involved. If you don't feel like there's a matchup where you say, they're not going to special summon a ton, Or I feel like I want to prioritize the Nightingale, then I would throw everything onto Nightingale immediately. And you're always prioritizing searching out your Bird Sanctuary over your Bird Call, because Bird Sanctuary is what's going to win you the game. Oh, also, yeah, I want to show you one more combo, and that's the line if we opened up Canary, what you would do. But that's pretty much the lines that you need to know. Most of those are the lines that are going to come up. There are 3-card lines, like if you open up Swallow, you could search DD Crow, which is another line you could do. But basically that requires you just to have an extra card, which again comes up more than you think. Because there's a lot of gas in this deck. It's almost like Tenyi. Well, apparently not in this hand. Apparently not with this hand. Alright. Alright, Konami, that was partly funny. But now is where you show me my bird call.
Step right.
Okay.
Here we come.
I'm gonna write this down.
It's my turn. I draw.
Now, Warbler gives you a little bit more to do. This could be Warbler plus, let's say we have Sparrow in hand. Sparrow. I'll write Celestine. Because this is the specific line that allows you to do this. And kind of goof around with it a bit. So, you can have fun with this line. This is a really cool line. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to, since we have Warbler and Sparrow, this is the only 2 cards we're going to pay attention to. We are not paying attention to anything else that is in this hand. So we're going to activate our skill. Now, if you have Sparrow in the hand, send Cobalt, obviously. I mean, if you have Sparrow in the hand, since we do, we're going to send our other thing to the graveyard. We're going to send Celestine. But if we don't have Sparrow, we have Celestine, and then we send the Sparrow. So obviously, you see this point. It's better to open up Celestine, because if you open up Celestine, then we put the Sparrow in the, if we put the untargetable, we get an untargetable second rank exceed, but in this case, this is still fine. So we're going to send our Celestine to the graveyard, and then we're going to special summon it.
Special summoning Turquoise Warbler activates her effect. Lyrlusc.
So Celestine triggers.
Special summoning Celestine Wagtail activates her effect.
And then in this case, we're going to search our Bird Sanctuary. Like I said, we're always preferring that. And we're going to make Recital. Now remember, the more extended you open, it gives you the more chance for you to play through Crow. Also, Turquoise can summon from their hand, so keep that in mind. Alright, so we'll boost. We'll detach Celestine. And then at this point, we will search our Sappire Swallow. Now, the Cobalt in our hand is going to get summoned. And we're going to get to search again. And at this point, we're going to search our Barrel Canary. I know you're going to say, but Sean, you already have Canary in the hand. Yes, I get that. But we're not pretending it's not in the hand. Now, at this point, we're going to make our untargetable Assembled Nightingale in the EMC. Remember, EMC. You might say, well, what's the difference? Well, I'm about to tell you. If you put Assemble Nightingale in the EMZ, if you put it in the main monster zone, sometimes you're going to want to skill off on turn 3, and you don't want to skill off your Nightingale because that's your win con. That is why you want it in the EMZ all the time. Now we're going to activate Barrel Canary. Canary to revive. And again, we just make our Ensemble Blue or Bromad Thrush. So again, like I said, a lot of the same line here. However, if you open up, let's say your Sappire Swallow, your Celestine instead, you'd be able to dump this, and then we make this immediately in EMZ, and then, well, yeah, we would make this in the EMZ, and because we'd summon Cobalt first, we'd be able to search the Sappire Swallow to special summon the Celestine out of hand, and then we'd be able to give the boost to Nightingale, and then keep that in the EMZ, and then revive back Cobalt later on to make our Robin untargetable. So it's slightly better. And like I said, it's slightly. Most of the time it does not come up, and it's small details. But it's just something cool you can know. Okay, anyway. Now at this point,
I activate Lyrlusc Bird Sanctuary's effect.
and attach. And then we're going to get our draw.
I activate Lyrlusc Bird Sanctuary.
So if you really think about it, it's kind of a one-card combo because you're getting an extra card. So really, it's a one-card combo to do all this. Because Bird Sanctuary just replaces itself. Which is really disgusting. So literally, any of these 4 cards that you have in hand can be all tech cards. Could be anything. Could be a ton of follow-up. Could be tech cards. Could be whatever. And then your opponent is going to have a nightmare dealing with this field. Because then they have to deal with your untargetable, indestructible Nightingale. Blah, 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 blah. And etc. and so on and so on. And then the Robin. Okay. Now we're going to move on to a few of the replays. Oh, this is a good one. This one we beat Magnus going second. That's really good. So what's the max rank up? Let's save this one. Oh, that's a terrible one. We're not looking at that. Okay. Here we go.
Witness a duel that transcends the limits of the mind.
I refuse to lose.
This duel is the beginning of your end.
Duel!
My turn. With this, I end my turn.
It's my turn. I draw. I refuse to lose. I'm counting on you. I activate.
Okay, so that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah. We are going to be doing probably maybe Winwitch next. That's probably the game plan. Or Time Thief, because I haven't done Time Thief on stream yet. So I'm going to do a Time Thief to max run. That would be kind of cool. Okay. Until next time, this is your boy Sean Matrai signing out. Have a good day. Peace. Bye, YouTube.